WMMS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News at noon.
6 News is your local election headquarters, and today Mid-Michiganders will head to the polls to vote on a number of local races and millages. It's our top story at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dalen Huff. Kirk has today off. Voters are headed to the polls across Mid-Michigan and across the country. We begin with our local races. Polls opened at 7 o'clock this morning and close at 8 this evening. As a reminder, if you're voting absentee, you need to have your ballot in by the time polls close for your vote to count. Here's a look at some of the candidate races on the ballot today. Starting in Lansing, voters will decide on their next mayor, as well as city council at large and city council members for the 2nd and 4th wards. Voters in Hillsdale, you'll get a chance to vote for your next mayor, and those of you in East Lansing will decide who will represent you on city council. Voters are also headed to the polls in Jackson. Sean Graney is here for you with a look at what you'll see on the ballot there.
Voters have been coming and going here all morning, some grabbing their I voted sticker before heading to work. Officials tell me the turnout's been steady and they're expecting even more people when the evening rush hits.
It's a $126 million bond that's going to help set Jackson Public Schools up for future success. Allows us to invest back in our classrooms, back into some of the resources that are going to help our students really thrive here, and sets us up for some of the things we want to do in the future around innovation, around the skilled trades, and building new resources here at Jackson Public Schools.
Polls stay open until 8 tonight, and if you were in line before then, you can still cast your ballot. Stay with 6 News and we will have more for you tonight on voter turnout and results. Here for you in Jackson, Sean Graney, 6 News.
Voters head to the polls across the state and the country today. Some of the mostly close watch races include the races for the New York City mayor, the Virginia and New Jersey governor races, and a proposition in California that will allow for congressional redistricting in the state. Natalie Brand is here for you with the latest on the national races.
Zohran Mamdani cast his ballot Tuesday morning, vying to run the nation's largest city as a self-described democratic socialist.
It is time now for a new day in our politics, and it is an honor and a privilege to be a part of a movement that has fought every single day to bring that day forward. And today, we have until 9 p.m. to say that our time has come.
Mamdani, the winner of New York City's Democratic primary, faces a challenge from former Governor Andrew Cuomo running as an independent and Republican Curtis Sliwa. On election eve, President Trump threw his support behind Cuomo.
President Trump is pragmatic. He is telling them the reality of the situation, which is if you do not vote, Mamdani is going to win.
In neighboring New Jersey, polling shows a competitive race between Democratic Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, a former Navy officer, and Republican former state assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli. Both the New Jersey gubernatorial race and the one here in Virginia are viewed as political bellwethers heading into the midterms next year.
It could send a small message about the direction we're headed in.
Voters in the Commonwealth are choosing between former Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger and Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears.
Abigail is for nonsense, but I am for common sense.
In Virginia, we need a governor who will stand up against the chaos.
Northern Virginia voters we spoke with said President Trump's policies and government layoffs are weighing on their minds.
In this area, I think that there's a lot of people who are experiencing personal impacts.
Today in California, voters are deciding on a proposition that would allow congressional maps to be redrawn in that state. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Alexandria, Virginia.
With SNAP benefits on the fence, Lansing is stepping up to the plate by increasing food assistance. The city will provide $10,000 to the Greater Lansing Food Bank. City officials say this will provide food for 200 additional families at the next 2 upcoming mobile food distributions. Officials say there's also a need for assistance from other local governments as people come to these food banks from the Tri-County area. Ingham County Commission is also thinking about making a donation. And happening today, 2 Men in a Truck is partnering with the American Legion Post 141 in Howell to host its annual Movers for Military Stuff a Truck event. The goal of this event is to collect enough donations for veterans and their families to fill up an entire truck. The truck will be parked outside of the Kroger in Howell from 10 to 3 today. Organizers say they'll especially need the following food items: non-perishables, canned food, French's fried onions, frozen items like vegetables and dinner rolls, and fresh food including turkey and butter.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Another dry and sunny afternoon across mid-Michigan. Notice on satellite and radar, it shows mostly sunny conditions across our region for the time being. However, a little bit more in the way of cloud cover to our north and to our west as well, which will slowly be moving in as we go throughout the rest of the day. But still, overall, we're expecting mostly sunny to partly cloudy conditions for our Tuesday. Very similar to what we saw yesterday, that sunshine and dry weather is going to come along with some fairly breezy conditions. Consistently as we go throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening, our wind gusts will be hovering between 10, possibly as high as 25 miles per hour. Precision Cast not going to show much in the way of activity across our region for today. However, overnight tonight we'll have a weak area of low pressure moving off to our north. That'll give us some cloud cover as we kick off our Wednesday. That is expected to decrease as we go throughout the day tomorrow, and we'll add in a very small chance for a couple of isolated sprinkles as we move into our Wednesday afternoon. However, it does look like most of us across mid-Michigan will be able to stay completely dry. We have more dry weather in the forecast just in time for our Thursday. Notice a lot of sunshine still expected across the region by then as well. Now, temperature-wise, as we go throughout the next few days, still going to be incredibly mild and above average. Today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday all include high temperatures either in the low 60s or in the 50s. A big cool down on the way just in time for the weekend, however. Notice by Sunday, our temperatures even struggling to make it out of the 30s across the region. Of course, that is going to come along with a chance for precipitation as well. We'll jump to early Friday morning. Notice more widespread rain showers in the forecast as we kick off the day. However, after this system exits by right around 10 o'clock, I do think the rest of our Friday will actually be fairly dry. I have more dry weather in the forecast just in time for our Saturday, and then early Sunday morning, area of low pressure moves in. As of right now, it looks like we'll start off with widespread rain very early on Sunday morning, but as the system starts to wrap some of those cooler temperatures into our region, eventually we'll make the transition over into snow. Still a lot of uncertainty in terms of how much snow we'll see, especially since our ground temperatures are still fairly warm. But of course, that'll start to become a little bit more fine-tuned over the course of the next few days. So stay tuned for more details on that as we go forward. Mostly sunny conditions right now here in the city of Lansing. Temperatures currently sitting in the upper 50s. Winds already fairly breezy, 14 miles per hour currently coming out of the west. A little bit heavier with that cloud cover in Jackson, currently at 55 degrees. Widespread sunshine, however, as we head further south into Hillsdale. That peak wind gusts 14 miles per hour. And our final stop up in St. John's, also sitting in the mid-50s. Winds currently fairly light, sustained at 2 miles per hour coming out of the southwest. Temperatures for today will top out in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees across the area. Enjoy it while you can, because again, on that 6-day forecast, the high temperatures that we have over the weekend kind of stick out like a sore thumb. We're going to slowly start to cool things down on Wednesday, however, upper 50s, low 50s for highs just in time for our Thursday. Again, most of the rain that we have in the forecast for Friday will be in the morning. I think by the time we get into our Friday afternoon, we dry things out. And then again, our first round of snow in the forecast just in time for our Sunday.
The snow word broke my heart a little bit.
I know. I will mention the average for snowfall is November 9th, so we're right on track for average, but still, if you're not a snow lover, it's still kind of a sore sight.
I got to find my winter coat.
Yes.
I have no idea where it is.
Time to start looking.
Well, thank you, Kendall.